Yeah, that takes us to patch 11.19. So we'll run through this pretty quick. Vex is being added to the game. Aatrox, his W cooldown is decreased.
Nice. Kali's base health regen is being increased.
Cho'Gath Q cooldown is decreased by 1 second.
Nice.
I think
Fizz. They're changing some of the last patch buffs, quote buffs. Passive damage reduction against basic attacks removed. W damage is reduced. E cooldown is decreased late, and the R damage is increased.
Cool.
So they're reverting the changes and doing a simpler buff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Galio, his W cooldown is now decreased with rank, a little spooky.
Gragas W damage AP scaling has increased, so a little buff to the AP Graggy boy.
Spoiler, boys, I already think this character's absolutely nasty. OP.
Yeah.
AP Gragas,
kind of snarky.
but he's just difficult to play.
How much worse does Gragas get if his E doesn't have priority over every single ability in the fucking
Oh,
game?
so much worse. And it's weird because like, how do you explain that to a new character?
Yeah, it's weird because like there's that like weird sub ranking of like which one's there, and Gragas is towards the top.
I think it literally is the highest in the game.
Yeah, it's like I don't know how to explain priority to a new player. Like if you were to say like, I don't know, X character versus Y character, all I know is Gragas beats them both.
Yeah, right. Where it's like, okay, if a Lee Sin is queuing at a Gragas and he E's, he's gonna stun the Lee Sin and probably cancel the second part of the queue.
Which is fucking wild.
Yeah.
That being said, like at a certain point, can we just make his E unstoppable or something?
Yeah.
To I make him W first. If he's W'd and then E's, it's like, cool, you're drunk and your slam is unstoppable. Yeah. But it's so frustrating, those interactions, especially if you don't play a lot of the characters.
But the thing is, I don't think that fixes it, because it's not like he doesn't he can be CC'd during it and it stops it. It's just other dashes are shit against it.
Yeah, it's just like,
and I don't know how to fix that. Yeah.
I mean, like the way you fix it is you make it lower priority, but then like another dash is now the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe it's because he's so fat that his model is bigger.
Maybe his hitbox is just bigger than his hurt box.
So like he collides with them before they collide with him.
Yeah.
Is maybe the logic? I don't know. I don't understand.
It's crazy,
I'm not a programmer, and their code is spaghetti anyway. But yeah, Gragas E, high priority skill. It would be great if there were clarity on those things. But anyway. Gwen, the scissor gal, base health regen increased.
Big.
Kennen, Q damage is decreased.
Mordekaiser, I looked this up. This is Mordekaiser's 8th buff in a row, by the way. His E
yikes.
cooldown is decreased early.
Hell yeah.
Fuck, that's scary.
Poppy, passive cooldown is decreased by 3 to 1 seconds.
Nice.
So
I like
it's pretty strong early, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good ability.
Kiana, EQ combo targeting on dashing targets has been adjusted. The Q bonus damage against monsters is increased. So even further.
It's weird. Like the Kiana thing's really interesting because like I do think it functions really well as like an auto-targeted ability. But like it's one of those things that if the auto-targeting works like shit, then you'd rather have it be a not auto-targeted ability, right?
Yeah.
If your auto-targeting can miss more than you can miss as like a human who's good at the game and good at the character, then I don't know. It's just a weird balance, I guess, and they're trying to figure that out. But it's cool. Lots of cool Renekton changes. I like these a lot. So Renekton's base health and health growth is increased. His W self lockout duration is decreased, and the empower animation is sped up. So the main thing is like they're giving him some base compensations because they made it so his empowered stun isn't as long, which is the main reason why he's OP in competitive play. And they're making his lockout timer on his stuns a little bit less, so you can maybe like get an auto attack. So you're not stunning yourself just as long as you're stunning the enemy. It's not like a Malzahar ult anymore.
Yeah. Rise, Q AP ratio is reduced, E cooldown is increased. So some adjustments, I suppose.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sejuani, Q cooldown is decreased and damage is increased.
Nice. Cool. Seraphine, R cooldown is decreased. I think it's fine. She's like kind of a little bit weak right now.
We got a buff to Scion W. Looks like the percentage is unchanged, the AP is unchanged, but the base value has gone up by a
pretty
flat
nice. Yeah.
10.
Sona.
It's pretty small, yeah.
Yeah.
Sona, base armor is reduced, passive damage bug fixed, and Q can no longer target hidden enemies. Power chord E is also bug fixed.
Huh.
That's wild. Her E power chord used to bypass slow immune targets.
Oh,
Nice.
that's cool. Soraka is getting a nerf to her R. They made it last patch so that she cleanses grievous wounds before she ults. So now it's gonna like heal less because turns out cleansing grievous wounds
What a
allows
surprise.
her like huge nuke ultimate to heal a lot. So
Yeah, and weird, Nick, how you mentioned how it's just it's fine, have everything heal at full effectiveness and just lower it.
Just remove grievous wounds entirely. I think that's the only way to balance healing, which sounds wild, but it's the only way to make it fair.
Yeah.
I think that honestly, I think that's one way to do it. I also think that having a more like difficult to access, expensive, or almost like if you had like a full like 3,000 gold legendary item that gave dog shit stats, but it's just like healing reduced by 90%. Like,
Yeah, but
I think
then you have to build it and it feels like shit.
yeah,
So you
but
don't build it, you just build damage.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a way to do it. I think that a totally legitimate way is just turn off grievous wounds and adjust all healing accordingly.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've had that conversation.
Yeah.
Varus Q cooldown is increased during the later ranks, so starts the same but a little bit more cooldown later on.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think it's a good way of doing it.
We skipped over Silas. Base mana and mana regen is increased.
Interesting.
Earth is coming out. They're changing some balancing on it.
The main thing is
except
the
for
shielding.
Yumi.
Like
Yeah,
shielding has always been OP in like Earth because they nerf healing but not shielding, so they're reducing shielding this time. So that's nice. It's good.
Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, okay.
There's
I saved
Worlds Clash, which we talked about. It's Worlds Clash is the one with 16 teams. So it's the one that's super fun to play in. So there's gonna be 2 weekends of that. One that opens, one taking place on October 2nd and 3rd, and the other taking place I think 2 weeks after it, I believe. And they're both I think 16 team clashes, which they're a lot of fun. So I'd recommend playing in those. I think we'll try to play in one of them maybe. But
I want to play in both, but I'm gonna have to find a different team.
Yeah, cool. And then they talked about their AFK penalties here as well.
Yeah. League Client, the performance update is coming through with Chromium embedded framework.
Nice. I love the Chromium embedded framework, dude.
Lots of bug fixes. Oh, interesting. Fix a bug where Aurelia's Q would sometimes, though very rarely, deal double damage.
I do want to talk about that because like everyone's like, oh, this is bullshit that like. And the writer immediately came and said, like, yeah, this happened, like, never, guys. Like, it's just people immediately they look at this and they go, huh, it's crazy how this exists. This is probably why she's OP. Her win rate's going to drop or whatever. It's like, no, this happened, like, actually never.
I think that it's people, it's like, you know, large numbers and humans don't mix.
Yeah.
And so it was probably something that happened, like, 1 in a million or less.
Yeah.
But people are like, oh yes, it's got to be like 1 in 100. So if it happened like in the course of a game, it probably got like 2 or 3 times. But
yeah,
like,
I mean, if it happened multiple times in a game, it'd be a issue. But like they're like, yeah, this just like never happened. It's just
it probably happened to like 1 Aurelia every 1,000 games once.
To be fair, Aurelia does cast Q a million times a game.
Yeah.
So
they also had they didn't have though very rarely I think before, but then they had
okay.
So many people were upset about it. So
that's wild.
Yeah. That being said, I was going to immediately make a joke and be like, oh, you mean every single time? Because
because she just does that much damage.
They fixed this bug by just changing the base damage to twice as much.
Yeah.
Interesting. Dawnbringer, Vex, Morgana, Yone, and Nightbringer, Tryndamere, Lilia, Kayn, as well as the Prestige Edition for Kayn, and Worlds 2021 Jarvan are also coming.
Have you guys looked at the
of these have skins?
Game?
I am now. Oh, they look so sick.
It might be one of the best skins they've ever made.
Wow, that looks amazing.
If you get time later, like go watch the skin spotlight video on it.
Yeah.
After every single time he cues, he like swirls his blade around with like magical energy, like just like twirls it like for fun. It's so fucking cool.
That's
dude.
so cool. Interesting.
Yeah, I think they're really cool though.
It's definitely my favorite one of these that are here. Although the Jarvan one is super cool.
The
world
Jarvan
skin
splash is so hype.
They're giving the world skin chromas. That's very interesting.
It is. It really is. And the chromas look pretty good too.
Yeah, they look really cool. They look like they're almost like the Victorious skin.
Yeah, almost.
Because the one looks like Challenger, one looks like Master for sure. That one looks like Grandmaster. Yeah, it looks like Diamond, Challenger, Master, and Grandmaster. But yeah, it's their world skin, so they're not tied to rank. It's weird.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, that's interesting, and I mean, it's cool because like they're already probably very used to like making those types of chromas for a skin where they're like, oh, okay, like easily do like we know our purple color scheme, we know our like yellow, blue, all that stuff. How do we feel about the Dawnbringer Vex?
I think it's funny.
I like it. I don't like it as her like first skin release skin.
I think it's funny just because it's like so different than her main one.
I think it's fine.
I miss the old days where like sometimes you'd have a skin release and their second skin was just a recolor. Like the good old days, but you've come a long way since then.
No, I think it looks fine.
I mean, I think the skin looks fine. I just like, I guess personally would have preferred that like the character's first skin was not a like lol sad character, but also sunlight positivity skin line.
I think the chromas for it look amazing. I think it's cool how they were able to make the shadow have chroma details. That's so fucking
super
interesting.
sick. Super sick.
Yeah.
That's it for patch 11.19.